Fate decided.
Let's get this party started.
Craving something scary.
Hello, Sydney. It's an honor.
Killjoy Jake.
Don't you swear at me, you little shit! Don't you ever raise your voice at me! I am your mother!
Nightwatch Zone.
What's the boogeyman?
As a matter of fact, it was.
Hey,
What's going on, everyone? How we all doing today? So, for starters, obviously, you see it's me and Craven. It's just the last live stream. Clearly, we were the stars, so we just kicked them off. We just said, you know what, we're gonna do our own thing today. Like,
right.
you know, we're the celebrities here on the collective, so that's what you get. You get the two of us today. But no,
Yes.
on a serious note, the beauty of being in this collective is that there's multiple of us. So when one or two people can't do it, we can still give you a live stream. Knight and Jake, they're totally fine. Everything's great. They just have different things going on, so they weren't able to make it. So you get the two of us, and you get a little exclusive Craven Fate discussion today. So,
Yes.
but yeah, outside of that, since there is only two of us, we'll be going back and forth. So we'll probably get through a lot of conversations. Also, if you're in the comments, if you have any questions, we'll kind of do a mixture because we don't have four people. We'll do a little mixture of our talks as well as anything you guys have in the comments that you want us
Yes.
to talk about, have an opinion on, whatever the case may be. So leave some questions in the comments and we'll get to them. But to start us off, Halloween Ends finished production.
It did.
So to kind of lean into that is I'm curious to see how this unfolds, how this ravels. There's so many directions they could go with this third installment, and the problem is usually with the ending of a trilogy, right? There's always disappointment to some capacity, right?
In some way, yep.
You never get the perfect ending. So that's a big thing is how are they going to conclude this? The 4-year gap still really concerns me. Something we've talked on in the past. I hope they don't just pick up and just pretend like there hasn't been a 4-year gap and they just continue the film, because I think that is important. Like, where's Michael been? Like, I don't think he's just chilling in a house and nobody and everyone's just leaving him alone. Like, just let him stay in the house. He's fine. He
Right.
won't come out. Like, or I don't
Calling
think that-
DoorDash or Uber Eats,
Yeah,
bring-
he's just like, I just don't see that happening. And so we need to know where Michael has been. We need to know what's going on with Lori, Allison, Lindsay. We know that
Yep.
they've redone some stuff to add her into the film more. So is she going to have a prominent role? Is she going to die like Tommy in Kills, or is she going to actually be like a catalyst to stopping Michael towards the tail end? I'm curious about that. Obviously, how Lori and Michael are going to conclude their story arc, especially because this is Jamie Lee Curtis said this is the last installment for her.
Yep.
So if that really is, which I think it is, I mean,
I do too.
yeah, even if, because the problem is no matter what, there's like the whole talk, is this the end of the franchise, right? That's a big thing. I don't think it is. We've talked about it on one of the lives before with everyone that there's no way. They're not leaving $1 billion on the table.
Yeah, too much money. It's just
Yeah.
too much money, man.
But I do think we get a hiatus. I do
Agreed.
think we'll get, I think we'll get a, 3 to 5 year gap. I think most likely. Beyond that, I wouldn't be shocked. I would be a little shocked if they went longer than say 5 years. Although we did get a long hike, because you had Rob Zombie's Halloween and then this one, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So,
That's
and that was
quite
like
a while.
10-year gap or 8-year gap, something like
About
that.
8. I think 8 years.
Yeah, 8, something like that. So yeah, I mean, it's just there. So I mean, I wouldn't be surprised, but I don't know. It's
Oh, we lost you. You're out. Your mic's out again.
Well, I know. This
There
is a
you
good
go.
thing. But yeah, I'm curious to see how the gap will take place, and if there is, like, say, an 8-year gap, I don't even think you'd be able to bring Jamie back at that point. I mean, she's likely going to be like, hey, I don't want to do, especially the type of character she plays, that sort of action hero.
Exactly.
It's
Yeah, man. Because we were talking about it on Friday, or not, no, on Monday, I think. How bruised she was. That picture that I put on my thumbnail where she's all bruised up, and those
Yeah.
are real bruises, man. That's not like makeup. That's like, she got beat up making this movie, and she's like 65 or something, or around there.
yeah.
So
Here, I can look it up real quick.
yeah, she's got to be around that early to mid 60s level, and I mean, gosh, man, if they do a 5 to 10 year break, she's going to be knocking on 70's door, and not that may not be possible, but man, the body can only take such a beating at that age.
Yeah, she's 63 right now.
Oh, there you go.
So say, I mean, even a 5-year hiatus,
Yeah.
she's almost 70. I mean,
Yes,
that's
exactly. It's just
not easy to take that kind of
no,
fighting.
it's not, man.
The
And then you
cat
have her.
backwards collective of two. That's right. See, we got we both styling today.
By the which, now that you mention that, as you guys know, for the first time ever on a live stream, I am sporting the backwards cap in honor of Tyler, and I know his sporty look he likes to always wear. And I said, if it's just going to be the two of us, man, then you know what? We will unite in capism, and not capitalism, but capism, and switch the hat around. And so I'm wearing a vintage 2008 Vince Young Tennessee Titans cap. This is what this is right here. That's some history right there. And if you guys are saying, who's Vince Young? I know he's been out of the league for a long time. Google him. He won a chance to a lot of stuff down here in University of Texas.
National championship.
Championship.
He was a stud in college.
Oh, he was pretty much unstoppable.
Yeah,
in college.
He single-handedly beat a juggernaut of a team.
Oh my gosh, when they played USC,
Yeah.
dude, he took the team on his back. It reminded me of Tom Brady against the Falcons in the biggest comeback in Super Bowl history, 28-3. He basically said, you know what, heck with all of you guys, let's go. I'm just going to go win this football game. Yeah. And that's what he did. It was very much like that in the Rose Bowl.
That was when USC was dominant too.
Big time.
Pete Carroll, I believe, was still the coach at that time.
He was the coach there. And what was the dude's name? The other quarterback they drafted the same year. It was Matt Leinart.
Matt Leinart.
Matt Leinart went out that year.
Yeah.
Anyway, I won't get us onto sports, but we could go there.
we could
park on that for a long time.
Yeah.
So in honor of our duo stream, I had to sport the backwards cap. It just seemed like the right thing to do.
Bring it back.
Now, we're not going to get into this tonight because Tyler and I are relaxed. We're having a good. This is a good day. We're vibing. We're just kind of going with the flow. But I'm already seeing a lot of this in the chat. And we're not talking Stu today. It's not. We're taking off. We're taking off this week for Stu.
Break.
Yep, we're taking a little break. It'll come back eventually. But I appreciate everyone's excitement for us to talk about it, and it will happen again.
Believe me,
but
it will happen naturally too.
It will just organically happen like last time, and we'll just take over the collective for another 40 minutes, and it'll go.
The problem is we don't have anyone to break us up this time.
We don't.
So we have to keep it. We have to keep it friendly.
Yeah, exactly. Because if we don't have Knight or Jake cutting in to kind of reel us in a little bit,
or to text us to say, "Hey, shut up."
Exactly. That's right.
But one of the things that I'd love to get your opinion on is because obviously we have different perspectives on Halloween Kills, but regardless on how Halloween Kills was perceived, it's still that stopgap film, and now we got a 4-year gap going into this film, right? And so what are your fears and what are your excitements, I guess, for this upcoming Halloween Ends?
So my dog's saying hello in the background. So
Nice.
if he chimes in, he's going to chime in on his thoughts. So what are my expectations, right? Sorry, I got distracted.
What are your no worries. I was saying, so for Halloween Ends, what are your expectations and what are your sort of fears or concerns for this upcoming installment?
Man,
sure there are many.
There are many. I'm telling you, I'll be anxious to hear yours too.
Yeah.
I really, this movie scares me. I'm nervous about this movie because the way they handle it, not only but in two things. I mean, the execution, yes, that's crucial. I'm not so worried about that because of the level of, I figure, the caliber of people involved. But what I'm more concerned about is the story. How is this David Gordon Green story end? And I'm just nervous about. We've talked a lot about the radio tower. That still to this day really makes me nervous a little bit. Like, I don't know what they're going to do with that. Maybe it'll be nothing at all like I'm thinking, and that would be great. But that could turn into such cheese so bad so quickly. But I'm concerned about the how they're going to end it, and how they're going to handle the end of Laurie Strode if they choose to kill her. Which after reading that last Instagram post from her, I feel pretty strongly that she is going to die. I seriously feel that way. I'm almost at the point now, like I felt with Dewey. I'm going to be shocked if she lives, not if she dies. That's where I'm at. Just like when I went to Scream 5, I knew, we talked about it over and over. I knew he was going to die, but I didn't know, but I felt like he was, and he did. I feel like it's going to be that again. It's going to be Dewey 2.0, but I just hope that if she has to die, she needs to kill Michael. What I'm afraid is going to happen is they're going to kill her off. This is the worst. This is the worst case scenario for me personally. They kill her off at the midpoint like they did Dewey, and the end of this movie is Allison and maybe Lindsay tag teaming on Michael, or even if Lindsay gets killed, it's just Allison at the end taking him down and avenging her mom's death.
I actually think that's a real possibility.
Don't say that.
No, I don't think that'll happen because I think they know that it'll sort of piss off a lot of people.
I don't like yeah.
But I really wouldn't be shocked if Laurie dies. Maybe not the midway point, but I wouldn't be surprised if she dies before Act 3.
You think so?
And Allison, I mean, I don't.
Oh, you're saying it's a possibility, right?
I don't think they will go that route.
Okay.
But if they do, I won't be surprised.
Yeah.
Like I wouldn't be like, oh my god, I never saw that. I'd be like, yeah, okay.
Like, Dewey 2.0.
To add to that real quick is how do you think that Laurie will impact you more, just as much, or less than Dewey? Seeing Laurie die.
I think because I've seen her die before, it won't be as stunning of an impact. Like I won't shed a tear. Like I mean I'll be sad to see her die, but I'm not going to physically shed a tear. When Dewey died, I physically shed a tear. I actually had tears in the theater. It just happened naturally. I don't think that's the reaction I'm going to have. I think I'll be very sad, and when that moment comes, because again, I know we've gotten rid of resurrection, so I just pretend, in this timeline, I pretend that never happened. That's how you have to do it. So I'll be sad knowing this is her last movie, though. That's the thing that's going to be sad. Even if she lives, I'll be sad at the end, whether she dies or not, because I know that I think she's never coming back. Yeah. Like this is it. Like it was that same realization after Dewey died, whenever the cameras were in the lobby on Gale, and it hit me after I just saw him die. But then what got me even more was that realization that hits you that all the Scream movies we've watched over and over again, he's always in the next one. You always know you're going to see Dewey in the next one. That's over now. I'm never going to see him again in the next one, and that's what's going to be sad.
Especially with Scream, because there's no supernatural element, so it's not like they can do a spell or something and bring him back. Or
exactly,
like, that's it. He's gone. Like he's dead.
Gone.
He's dead. Like
he is dead. Yeah, he's straight up gone. So I'll be very sad if she dies. I want her to have that nice ending. You know, I want her to. I want her to win.
The type of death might impact more because we saw her die in Resurrection, but.
That was terrible.
It was a stupid death.
It was awful. She basically gave up.
You know, she just gets stabbed and thrown off, and you're just like, okay, like. But do you think if it is like an emotional, impactful, like really, like this is like a death, you know? I don't think it's gonna be. If they kill her, I don't think it's gonna be a swift like she gets her head chopped off or something type death. I think it'll be a very emotional like moment. I could even see it being one of those things where like. You know, she's holding on and Michael's like holding on to her or something. and she's just talking to Allison, you know, and just like telling her she loves her and all this stuff, and then boom, just lets go. Assuming it's like the radio tower,
The tower, and they
if
both
they're
fall.
like they're at the top of the tower.
Yes.
She's just barely struggling to hang on. They're talking. You get that emotional dialogue. You know, the don't do it, hang on, like, you know, I'm coming, like type thing, and she just boom and just falls back, and you just see this, you know, a slow-mo or something of her and Michael fall into their death. Like,
Dang.
I think I could see something like that
Yeah, me
playing
too.
out to some degree.
Me too. Very dramatic fashion. Yeah,
Yeah.
It's I want it to be big. I do, and I know it can happen earlier in the movie, which I said for me is my worst case. I don't want that. I want it to be pushed as far to the end as you can push it for that big finale, epic battle. And you know, I just want it to be done well. That's my thing, man. I just want it to be done well. I want the story to be. I want it to be one of those movies where you and I are talking about it, and you're like, I loved Kills. We know that. I know you did, and that's fine. But what I would love to hear you say is, if this movie's done right, you say, you know what? I don't even care about Kills. This is incredible. This was
that's
the
what I'm
way
hoping for,
to
too.
do it.
Yeah,
Yes,
that's what I'm hoping for too. Because I mean, I enjoyed 18. I thought 18 was well done.
It's solid, man.
Yeah, and then it's just Kills. Like, you know, we've talked about our
Oh, yeah.
opinions on Kills,
Right.
and then Halloween Ends. Like, of course, like, and that's the thing too. And I've stressed this on this channel. I've stressed it on my channel. Like, you know, because there are other people that feel the same way about Kills as I do.
Oh, sure.
The thing is all those people, just like I am, we're all gonna go see Halloween Ends because we all want to
Absolutely.
know how it ends. We all want to know what is the conclusion. How is the story going to conclude? And so my thing is that, like, I just want a convincing story. I just want it all to make sense. Like, I just don't want to
Yes.
get there and it's just like a jumbled mess, because I feel like, and the reason I'm very concerned about Halloween Ends is they haven't done themselves any favors. Like, the 4-year gap thing really worries me. And maybe I'm looking into that too much. Maybe I'm just, you know, dwelling on it too much. But like,
Yeah.
I just don't see, like, the town isn't just going to just let Michael walk off into the sunset. I mean, you had this whole town rallying around trying to kill people. It's the same night, you know, and you have all these people on a central witch hunt. Like, all those people are just going to stop.
Yeah.
You know, like,
I know. Like, what
nobody's
happened?
going to go after, especially now that people are dying. Like, Michael just, you know, tore through a group of them. Karen's killed. Like, Lori, like, I don't even see Lori allowing that to happen in the moment. And we've talked about, like, maybe her character is different come Halloween Ends. But here's
Right.
the problem is that after the events that happened that night, she's still that same character. In that moment, she's not going to just let Michael go and walk away. If somehow if they think Michael's dead, or you know, he gets captured, or whatever the case may be, and she kind of gets this like relief, then yes, I could see that evolving into Halloween Ends. But we need to understand that is my problem. We can't just pick
Agreed.
up and Lori and Allison are having pancakes, living life like nothing ever happened. Like, you know, and obviously we saw in Halloween Kills that they'll incorporate flashbacks, things like that. So maybe that's how they explain it. We get a couple flashbacks here and there throughout, maybe some dialogue. You don't have to explain it all at once.
The house demo, right? The house demo.
Yeah, well, yeah. Supposedly that's what
That's
Jason
what
Blum
happens.
posted, that Lori bulldozed his house. But it's like,
Dang.
my biggest thing is, like, what happened to Michael? Like, there's no way that the town and Lori, and especially Allison at that point,
Oh, yeah.
is just going to
No way.
let them walk away. Like, just say it's okay. Like, hey, you know what? Let him go be him. You know, like, it makes no sense. I don't see that being Halloween Ends tonight. I know. I do. It's a concern of mine.
Yeah, that's fair.
Probably more than anything.
That's a good point, man. Because I guess, I mean, the more I think about that, as you talked about it, you're right. Because they're going to have a really good story or some type of an explanation that does make sense. Because and we know the working title is Cave Dweller.
Yeah.
And so, you know, is he living underground? Is that literally what's going to happen? Is this going to be where he's he's found a hole. He's buried himself in a hole, however you want to call it. And he's, he's living in the sewers or he's living whatever.
In an actual cave.
Actual cave, yeah. I mean, and then my question is, if that's the case, then how come he comes out of this cave? Why is he hiding for 4 years and then he just decides to come back? Like, is this the radio tower? This, of course, we don't know. This is all the unknowns, but
Yeah.
Allison is on a rampage to avenge her mama's death.
Exactly.
I mean, there's no way. She was on a rampage in Kills
Yeah.
when her mom was alive. So
That's my point exactly. Like Allison and Lori
yes.
wanted nothing but Michael's head in Halloween Kills. They're not just going to let him walk away. So something had to have happened that got them to stop.
Yep.
Whatever that is, got them to stop. And Karen dying isn't going to get them to stop. If anything, it's going to it's going to drive them even further to pursue Michael.
You bet.
And that's why I don't know if they wanted to do the 4-year gap thing.
Yeah.
I don't know why they didn't do it between 18 and Kills, because you could have had Halloween 18 play out, right? Michael escapes and is just trying to get home, whatever the case may be. That was the established storyline in Kills. But you could have 18 where he just like had the 4-year gap between escaping and getting to Haddonfield and then doing for whatever. If you wanted to do the 4-year gap, you could have even shown Lori's obsession, and sort of showed it over the years, built up, explained that 4-year gap. And then the end of 18 could have been exactly how it was, that bled into Kills. And then Kills would have been, even you could even have Kills be the same night. And then Halloween Ends be the sort of conclusion.
Sure could have. Yeah.
Everything that they established in Halloween Kills doesn't make sense to have a 4-year gap, because you have a town full of people that are just riled up, looking for blood. I mean, as we saw, an innocent person died. I can't remember his name off the top of my head, but the guy from the psych ward. Completely innocent, getting chased around, and that he died. And then, excuse me, and then you had and then you have Allison and Lori who just want his head. You have all these people that are riled up. So what does Michael kill the entire town except for Allison and Lori? What happens? It just really concerns me, in my opinion. It's just
maybe the title should be Haddonfield Ends.
Yeah, seriously. Yeah, right?
The town's completely destroyed.
Maybe that's why it's called Halloween Ends. Maybe
it might
the entire town of Haddonfield is just dead.
It's just dead.
And he's just chilling in his house by himself.
This is funny. I have to throw this up. Not now. Nicole says, first question: how old are you, sweet babes?
Which one's sweet babes?
Well, it's plural.
Oh, babes.
It's plural. Yeah. I'll tell you how old I am. I'm old. That's how old I am. How old are you, Tyler? I'm old. How about you? She says I think the boys look dashing tonight. Well, thank you. Thank you very much.
I
appreciate that very much.
I am 30. I will be 31 this year.
Rock on, bro. Big 3-0, man.
I'm a baby. Yeah, will officially be into my 30s this year in May. My birthday's in May. If anyone wants to, send me a gift, I'm just teasing, and I'm seeing a lot of hate on this hoodie. This hoodie is fantastic,
bro.
Look at this.
That hoodie, man. I'm seeing Carrie throwing shade about a chocolate. Somebody throwing up a chocolate shake or a strawberry shake.
Jealousy. It's jealousy that they don't have this hoodie. This hoodie is amazing. This hoodie is just wonderful. It's all right. Haters gonna hate.
They're gonna hate, man. They're gonna hate. Nothing you can do about it. I see a lot of people are begging for the Stew Train debate. Not tonight, guys. We're gonna thank you for your excitement and zeal, though. And Tyler and I talk about that after the streams about how you guys are enjoying it. That's the main thing, and that's why we do it. We do it for your all right. Now, Wayne, look here, bro. If you don't have something nice to say. No. You know what? That's pretty accurate. I can't even deny it. I just told you I'm old. That's hilarious. Oh, my gosh. Oh, man. I'm just catching up in the chat here. I got a little bit behind, so I just wanted to take a look and see here. In case we got...
it's just us today.
It's just us, man. We can just take our time, chill out.
I shot him 6 times. Why did you stop at 6?
I shot him 6 times. Okay, all right, Carrie, all right. This is Carrie's fault, ladies and gentlemen. Everyone, get your lighters out, get your phones out, and get prepared. I'll do the same.
You have it queued up, huh?
I have it ready to go. Got to get our flashlights turned
See,
on.
who needs night?
I got us covered, man. Of course, you can't even see my flashlight, but that's all right. All right, here we go. So, everyone, get ready. I don't know if you're singing it out there, but we trust you are. It's an honor system. And Carrie, lead us off. Night here, not night. I'm supposed to night. Carrie, lead us off here. Tyler, let's rock and roll. Who's going to be there? That's right. We're going to be there. Oh, that was great. Thank you, Carrie. That was, I couldn't resist.
That's right.
What can I say? HR says, I just found this channel. Good stuff, Phil. Oh, awesome.
Well, appreciate you. Usually there's 2 other people, HR. This usually there's 4 of us. I don't know if you're familiar with Killjoy Jake and the Night Watch Zone. If you're not, you should definitely check out their channels as well. But usually there's the 4 of us. We have Monday and Fridays. We have usual discussions. But of course, because there's 4 of us, we all live in different places in the U.S. Time is hard sometimes. But the beauty of having 4 of us is that we can almost always do a live stream, do one of these days. So that's always good. But,
so good. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, appreciate you. If you like the content here, just be sure you subscribe. So that way you'll be able to get notified on our live streams twice a week. And we also try to post videos throughout the week as often as we can. So Thank you. Glad you're stopping in and letting us know. Crystal's got a question it's interesting to ask. Do you think, by the way, Crystal Fear, love the name as always. Do you think the minute Laurie dies, Michael just drops and dies like they are connected? Like a Danielle Harris Halloween 4 connection? Yeah.
That connection? I personally hope not. I hope that they're 2 separate entities, which they did separate them again in this installment, because
that is true. They're not related, right?
Yeah, they're not related anymore. They even made that a point in Halloween 18. There's actually like the dialogue where they're like, that's just something that somebody made up in one of those fan sites or whatever. So they removed that connection. They removed that separation. Not just that, but Michael could care less about Laurie and this adaptation. Michael doesn't even really know Laurie exists. Laurie's just Laurie's the one that's upset. They kind of flipped the script in this version of Halloween. Compared to past ones where Michael just is tracking down and hunting Laurie. It's actually the opposite. Laurie is trying to track down Michael.
I was going to say, it's like unfortunately, Laurie didn't get the memo that Michael doesn't care about her. That he's not after her, she's stuck on that 40-year thing that happened in 78, which is understandable. But, it's interesting. And, it's an interesting, I'm going to get a little philosophical with you here. Okay. Isn't it interesting how sometimes when events happen to you, you can begin to project those events and those circumstances on future events, and almost as if everything that's happening is because of you, like you're the center of it, and at the end of the day, you're not even that big of part of it. But because it affects you in a big way, you can feel as if it's all about you.
Yeah.
But it's not, and sometimes it is, but sometimes it's not as well. So,
well, I mean, we all have been in a position in our lives where something happened, and we think that it happened directly because of us, and in reality, it didn't. It had nothing to do with us. We could have not even existed, and it still would have happened. It's just, it's just. For whatever the circumstances are, whatever. Wow, Blucka. Those are fighting.
We're getting the hate, Nicole was being so nice, and how we look dashing tonight. And then Hate's just coming in. Jealousy is an ugly thing.
It is.
You know, it's so ugly when it manifests itself. And just
It
you know,
is.
come on,
Evil
guys.
dies tonight, Blucker.
Evil dies tonight. Jealousy dies tonight.
He dies tonight.
Now, Arthur wants to know if you and I have gone to couples therapy. You know, that's an interesting question. We've seeing
talked about it.
we've talked about seeing somebody, you know, helping us work through our stew issues, but you know, our common bond always withstands the tension. We can handle it.
That's right.
It's all good,
You know, hey, it's not a real relationship unless you fight.
right? Exactly.
You know,
I think
Everybody.
Maverick Media, it's in the house, man. What's up? I think they'll show a Thorn. Oh no. Oh no, Thorn! Please, no Thorn logos, no Thorn tattoos, man. I can't do it. I can't do 6, man. It's just, I mean, I can do it because it's Donald Pleasant's last movie, okay? But that's about it. But honestly, the way it ends with him screaming, it's mortifying.
Yes.
It's horror. I hate the way it bothers me. Like, it's just, it shouldn't sound that way. HR says Halloween ends at Camp Crystal Lake. Oh my gosh.
Jason
You know-
versus Michael. Let us know in the chat who wins that fight, Jason or Michael.
Oh, that's a good one because they're both supernatural beings, and you know, within them.
Yeah.
As you know, and so that's a very good. That would be a good fight. Castles impart martial law in Haddonfield.
Seriously.
No joke.
Especially with everything that happened.
Denisha says, "I'm late joining. No Killjoy or Night Watch. Nope, they're gone.
Nah, we got sick of them.
Yeah, it was
The
enough
last,
of that.
the end, the way that they were just in the corner on timeout while me and Craven stole the show.
I know, right?
We just realized we're the stars.
And all the instant messages we were getting, like, you guys really need to just take over. And
Yeah.
Tyler and I talked about that and said,
It was embarrassing. You know,
it was
all of-
embarrassing. I was
yeah.
like, "Are you getting these messages too?" And Tyler's like, "I'm getting them too."
I had people sending messenger pigeons with notes attached. Like it was just a thing.
Okay, of course we're joking, everyone, of course. But Denisha, they're just gone. They had some stuff to take care of. Hey, life happens for everybody. So they'll be back. They'll be back Monday. So all will be it's just for this Friday.
All
Now
will
this
be
is interesting, Tyler. Let's talk about this for a second.
Yes.
So, and I'm not going to say it out loud. We're just going to see it, but we see it on the screen. JLC's comments, Jamie Lee Curtis about Fanby's point about you know what involvement is all a distraction to keep us talking. I think the leak of H Kills made Dovin agree to decide to everyone. I don't know. So what do you think, Tyler? Do you believe that topic will be in the movie? Because they're really being adamant that it's going to be is somewhere in this movie.
Yeah. So I wouldn't be shocked.
Yes.
I know a lot of people are really upset about that. But like I think that the way that they've explained it, that it's very likely going to happen. It's going to be some sort of cause in this film, which I'm not really looking forward to. I don't even know how you tie that into this Halloween installment. Like maybe that's why Michael hasn't been bothered because he's been isolated in his house and everyone had to,
he's under quarantine.
everyone had to quarantine, so they're just like, we'll get Michael, and everyone's just looking out their windows at the Myers house, waiting for the mandate to be lifted. You know,
I love it.
I don't know, but I do think, based on certain things that they have said, like the end of the franchise, you know, the thing, all of that stuff. Like, I really think that a lot of things that they're throwing out there could be strictly for conversation.
Yeah.
You know, because
Yeah.
you throw these things out, people start talking about it. People start, look at Scream with Vince. That was a great point. You know, you had Vince, no last name.
Yeah,
and
no
leaving
posters.
him off the posters.
Yep.
Everyone's talking about what's going on with him, what's going on with that. And then Vince Schneider, and we're all like, that's a fake last name. You know, and then you get to the movie and it's just like, that was it. Like, you know, and it was purely to start a buzz. It was purely to start a conversation. The fact that he looked just like a younger Billy Loomis. I mean, that was the point. And I think that's very well could be what they're doing with this. Just throwing things out there, starting conversations, starting buzz. And, you know, especially like the end of the franchise thing, because what does that do? That gets people that are like, oh, I have to go see this movie because it's the last Halloween movie ever, you know? And it's just, you know, people take things at face value. It's just how we are in many ways. And so, yeah, I do think that could be incorporated into the film, which worries me. I hope not. But what about you, Craven? What do you think?
Yeah, I think you're right. I think it could be. My hope is if they're going to do that, let it be something subtle, like people wearing masks, but they're not making a big deal of it. It's just like what's happening. Just we can see a visual of that, and we all know what that's about.
Yeah, exactly.
You don't have to make it anything more than that. So I hope that's what it is. I hope it doesn't go any further. Because let's be honest, man. I think we mentioned it on. I keep thinking this is Monday. I have no idea why. It's crazy.
Because we're doing the Q&A thing.
Maybe that's what it is. Because it really is. But when we're talking about it, I think on Monday, where just don't force stuff in. I just don't want stuff to be. I want it to be. And also, I like to watch films to kind of escape the rules of the real world and the things that. It's nice to see something it's free of all that stuff. This is like, this is how it was before this stuff. Again, when you're watching these movies, even the ones that are being made now, they don't acknowledge it. Scream 5, there's no acknowledge. It's like so I don't see the point of it unless you're trying to make a very specific point, like agenda type point, and that's where you have to be careful. That's where they're going to lose me personally.
Well, I mean, especially the way films are putting in all the social commentary nowadays, stuff like that. That's what I think that could very well be. Like,
me too.
That's their version of social commentary. Problem is that like there's a right way to go about social commentary and there's a wrong way to go about social commentary. And and so I mean, which way will they go? I mean, it's yet to be seen. But I don't know. I mean, it's going to be interesting to see how it all plays out. But two things I do see. So HR asked if David Gordon Green hinted at another chapter after Halloween ends, because we're kind of on that discussion right now. So from all the information that they've said right now, even John Carpenter, I believe, said that this is supposed to be the end of the franchise. I don't think that's the end of the franchise. No. This is supposed to be the last film, according to them, film ever. I highly, highly doubt that. I think that is just pure marketing. It's just like when you see a movie and it's titled, the final chapter.
How many final? Oh, your mic's out, Tyler. How many final Fridays were there? Was there at least a couple? Right?
10 of them.
Like almost every other one was the final chapter, the final one. And then guess what? New Beginning comes up. Friday the 13th. I'm like, here we go. Yeah, there's
how
just
it always goes.
Man, it comes back to money. If this film does 150 million, you're telling me that there's these studio executives are going to say, you know what? That 150 will last me for 10 years. We don't need to come back to that. No, are you kidding me? No.
Either they'll end up doing a new installment, somebody else will buy the rights to it, and then they'll do a new installment.
Yeah.
Sooner or later, do believe, like we mentioned earlier, there will be a hiatus. I'm very confident. I don't think we're going to get a film, in 2023, 2024. But I could see in 27, that we get another, we get a new installment, a new trilogy, something along those lines. It's just how this goes. I mean, it's one of those franchises that'll never die. But to be fair, just to argue the other side, we talked about this with Nightmare on Elm Street. I mean, if you remove the 2010 remake, we haven't gotten anything in 30 years, and it's so. I mean, Halloween though, I mean, is big, So I mean, that's in a different category and league in and of itself, in my opinion. But
I think so.
I do think we can't completely. I don't want to say undoubtedly like it's going to happen, but it'll.
Well, remember too, like we talked about. I think there's a distinction. Is the Nightmare is so Robert Englund centric. The face, that's Robert Englund's voice. The Shape has no face. It has no voice.
Yes.
So it's a little bit easier.
It's easier,
to keep it going. Nicole says, regarding to Wayne's comment, Stephen looks like an enthusiastic person. Those types don't show age. Ageless. Thank you. That's right. Thank you very much. And we got there you go. Craven, classic old school. Thank you so much. See,
that's right.
I appreciate that. What's up, Florin? Thanks for making a live chat tonight. Good to see you.
Thank you for being here.
Let's take a look here. I shot him 6 times. What percentage of possibility you guys give a chance on Michael dying in this film and not Laurie? I shot more times, but I'm telling you, he's not human. That's right.
There you go.
It's a good answer.
There we
Go
go.
ahead, Tyler. Why don't you start off? I'll follow up.
I think it's almost zero.
Yeah.
I think it's more likely that Laurie dies and Michael lives, because the problem is that we don't know if they got the permission to kill Michael or not, because it has literally been in contracts like Halloween H2O. That's why we got the terrible resurrection, is because in the contracts it said point blank, you cannot kill Michael Myers. The creator of Michael did not want him dead, and his son now who owns the rights.
Yeah, Malik.
Yeah, Malik. I do not think he's gonna say, well, I mean, his dad literally said to him, do not let them do so the probability, I think most likely, I don't think we'll get a definitive death of Michael Myers, although I really would like that. I don't know if we get a definitive death. What I could see happening is a open-ended, let the audience come to their own conclusion.
Which I hate. I hate those kind of endings.
Yes, where it's kind of like the whole thing where, to use a Scream reference, like Kirby, where Kirby was left in a position to where they could go either way. And even Wes Craven said, I did that deliberately because we don't in case we want to continue her story or not. And so that could be the thing. The reason I would love to see Michael actually die is because any new adaptation is not going to be a continuation of this trilogy. It's going to be its own thing.
Yes,
It's going to be either a remake. I mean, and think of all the timelines and variations we have already. I mean, we have we have requels to retcon. I mean, H2O was a requel. It
was
out everything else and went directly 25 years later from or whatever it was from the original.
And it's interesting. All of them retcon too. It's like no one acknowledges that second one anymore. It's like, what's up with that, man?
Yeah. So I think it's. I don't want to say 100% it's not going to happen because anything's possible. But
anything's possible.
I'm about 99.99% that either they both live at the end or Laurie dies and Michael lives. Has that open ending. But
it's important, I think, to remember. You touched on it, or you nailed it. Rather, was the contract.
Yeah.
If that contract is in place, then there is no way he's dying. He's going to live in this movie, or to your point, at least make it uncertain. That gives some ambiguity where maybe they'll try to satisfy the fans by both sides by saying, well, if you want to think he's dead, you can, because he could have died. And so you kind of come back to the whole Stu thing, which I'm not going to open up that can, but it's the same thing.
I get what you're saying. I do. I agree that it's very, that I really believe that that's most likely what will happen. We will get that inconclusive death, or where we see Michael die and then it zooms in on Michael and you hear the breathing or something overlay, something like that, where you're just like, wait, so he's alive, that kind of thing.
Was that his last breath, or was that just a normal regular breath?
Yes, exactly. So I think it's very likely that will be the case. We'll get something along those lines. But not now. Nicole gave you an opportunity for a shameless plug. When is the Scream 2 watch along happening? So let's do it.
Let's do it. So it was okay. To answer right now, the short answer is to be determined, because I've been meeting. In fact, I was going to be getting back talking about you after the stream. So I'm going to need to rearrange. It was going to be next week, but I'm going to need to change that. So it's probably going to be not this coming week, but the week after. That's the plan. I don't have a date yet, but thank you for asking. Now, one thing I do have a date. I'll keep you guys posted on that. Denisha also was asking a question while we're kind of paused the show, and she says she's looking forward to the live stream. She's talking about the live stream tonight on my channel. What time does it start? And that's the live stream, guys, that you've heard me talking about with
Mike
here.
Vaughn,
Here we go. Mike Vaughn. There it is. Yes, tonight. That is tonight. 10 p.m. Central Time. So it's 4 hours from right now on my channel. He'll be on, and we'll be talking about how his experience was being the voice of Brandon James. We're going to talk about all of his stuff, his whole career. He's done a lot of stuff. So, yeah, if you guys are available tonight, I would love for you guys to join the live stream and see you over there tonight to interview him. It's going to be a fun time, and he seems like he is a ton of fun. Great voices. He does all kinds of voicing for, commercials, ads. He even does voices on like sitcoms where they'll turn radio stations on and they'll have the DJ will be on the radio. Like he's done that. He's done all that type of stuff. Voiceovers, video games, and of course Brandon James rather in season 1 and 2. So thanks for asking about that, guys. I appreciate it. Would love to see you over there tonight. Let's take a look here. Now this is a fun question. Wayne says, "Did you see Night Watch chat on favorite movies for each decade?" I did not get a chance to watch that. I saw the posting. What are some of our favorites from the 70s, 80s, 90s to the 2010s? Ooh. Wow, that's a lot of territory.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. That's the first thing in my head. I mean, like,
I need to prep for that
one. That's a live stream in and of itself.
It totally is.
Maybe that would be a good lethal live stream. With the four, if all 4 of us are on it, we all just kind of go through the decades of our favorite films and stuff. Plus it would give us an opportunity to actually put some thought into it, because there's a lot of iconic movies from the 70s and 80s specifically. 90s was an incredible era for horror. I would like to take the time to really like just look into it, because we could give generic answers now and then get off of this live stream and boom, something will pop into our head. Oh, what about this? What about that? So but I think maybe we should do that in a live stream. Like take the top 5 from each era of each of ours.
Agreed.
What is your top 5 of the 70s, 80s, 90s, and
dude?
2000s?
That sounds so fun, man.
That would be a lot of fun. That'd be a good live stream.
That's a 2-hour stream. That's
Easy.
a 2 hour of packed.
Yeah, because we're all going to go down all kinds of rabbit holes and having discussions and arguments about what era was the best and so on and so forth. So, yeah, especially because we're all, even age-wise, we're all across the board. Because
sure.
Jake's 23, I'm 30. You and Knight.
Me and Knight are the elder statesmen.
Of
the collective.
That's correct. So
yes,
but I have since we're both we gotta talk Scream a little bit. So because that's just what we do. On each of our individual channels, right?
Absolutely.
What do you think? And this is something that I even planning on making a video on my channel tomorrow. But what do you think will likely happen with Sam as a character? Do you think do you want what would be your ideal for Sam as a character in the upcoming? Nice, look at you already had it queued up. I love it.
Look at that shot.
That is a great shot. But yeah, and also, what do you think the likelihood of Tara becoming this fan favorite likely evolves into, the final girl? Because it's something that we've talked about, her becoming too big for her britches, so to speak, that she can't, that she just becomes out of reach for the franchise. So do they actually even try to make her that route? But assuming that she's willing to come on board forever, do you think that they make that transition at some point? I'd love to hear your thoughts on Sam as the final girl. And what did you think of her in general? Now that we've had time to kind of let it marinate and stuff.
Absolutely. And I've had a chance to watch the movie a few more times. So I think I'm up to, what am I up to now? Anyway, I think I'm up to 6 times now I've seen it. So here's the thing. I was hoping the more I watched the movie, Sam would grow on me more and more and more and more and more and more and more. And by the time I got to 10, 12 views, I'm like, I love her.
Yeah.
Well, what's happened is that the more I watch the movie, the less I'm liking the character of Sam. And I don't know if it's, I think some of Melissa Barrera's moments don't ring true to me. And I noticed it when I first saw it, but I was so excited about everything. It was sensory overload the first 2 times. And she's not terrible, all right? I'm going to put me up front. She's not bad. I'm not saying I can't stand her in the movie. All I'm saying is there's a few key moments where that emotion that she's trying to communicate, and I don't feel it. Whereas, contrast to Tara, Jenna Ortega, every time she's in an emotional, vulnerable moment, I buy it. I believe what I'm seeing on the screen is real. Like, I believe that's someone that's feeling what she's saying. And unfortunately, every time I watch it, I keep thinking, okay, now this time I'm gonna like Sam better. I'm gonna like it better this time. And I go with an open mind. I say, let's go again. And I'm like, come on, Melissa, you can do better. I know, come on, pull it out of you. It's just not quite there. Now, it's not on every scene. It's just it's some of those, especially in the hospital when she's talking about Billy. That's the scene that really, to me, is one of the flattest performances. And to the point where she's trying to manufacture tears. She's it's not my fault. And I'm not trying to mock her. But she's doing the right stuff. But there's nothing. Since nothing's really happening. And I'm looking over at Jenna, and she's like, she just is looking at her with the look of shock, and the tears are flowing. Like, it's what I would expect someone to hear. Like, that actually would be what I would expect. So I kind of giving a very long answer here, but as far
it's fine.
As far
it's
as
us, man.
It's just us hanging, man.
Yeah.
That's right. With Sam, because we could take up their airtime. See,
Yeah,
so we
exactly.
could talk
See,
longer.
Perfect.
We may have to keep this going. No, I'm
Yeah,
kidding.
right.
No, but seriously. So, I love. Okay, here's what I love. I love this Sam.
Yeah.
This Sam right here is I'm a fan of it. I think she's fantastic. But I just don't know personally that I'm going to like her. Gosh, I never said this on any of my videos, but I'm more I watch the movie, and this could change tomorrow because I'm going to keep watching this movie till I get to 15 times. But I don't know that I'm going to be a huge fan of hers as the final girl for the next 2 movies. I honestly am pulling for it. I know Tara's getting popular. She's in X. She was in the other movie on HBO, After the Fall or whatever it was.
Yeah. Fallout.
Yeah. And so I know her star is rising, and we've talked about that, and that's the concern is, will she become too big of a budgeted person? But my hope is this, that they go to her and say, hey, look, here's our plan. If this is their plan, here's our plan. We want to do this trilogy with you. Here's the thing. We're going to say bye to Sam. She's going bye-bye in 6. She's going to go. She won't survive. We want you to take over, finish the franchise out, not the franchise, but the trilogy out in 7. And I mean, look at her even in this shot. Look at the resolve. She is, to me, she is more Sidney Prescott by a mile. Yeah, still for the Babadook, I know, right? But I'll forgive her for that. But no, I'm kidding. I hadn't seen the movie yet. But anyway, I think she's more Sidney Prescott than Sam is. I'll put it that way.
Yeah.
If you know. So anyway, that's my thoughts. What are your thoughts, man?
No. I think your thoughts are very valid. But so like, I agree to some capacity. Like, you're right. I mean, we've talked about this. Her acting was very stale. She's very plain bagel, so to speak.
Very.
There was no real emotion. But I think that was her character.
And that could be.
I think that's what they wanted her to be. Because you saw it towards the end, her sort of finally break out of that emotional shell, which I think was deliberate. She finally gave into her instinct. She finally gave in. So I'm curious to see how Sam is in the next installment, because I think she may finally be able to get off that and sort of overcame her demons or whatever the case may be. I really believe that Sam was deliberately portrayed that way. And in my opinion, if that is really the case, Melissa Barrera killed it. Because
this is the reverse psychology.
I mean, seriously, because think about that. So many people think she's just this plain bagel and was just terrible.
Just stiff.
But if that's how she was supposed to portray it, guess what? She did it.
So Tyler, are you saying that we should until
We
we
should
see
be
six,
praising her.
we should be giving her an Oscar because
Yes,
she was able to convince us she couldn't act very
Even
well.
even when I first watched it, I was like, I was really disappointed by her.
I
But
know.
the more I've watched it, the more I realized, and they've related too. You know that
Yeah.
she was heavily into drugs, that
She
she
was
had
medicating.
hallucinations, she's heavily
Yes.
medicated. You know, she's all these things are signs of people that have that type of personality, the lack of emotion, things like that. And
True.
so it makes sense that her character is the way that it is because of everything, all of the elements incorporated. And
Yep.
maybe they should have shown that more visually because
Mhm.
most people are more visual intakers
Yep.
rather
Yep.
than verbal intakers. And most of the information that she relayed, as far as like the reason she is the way she is, because she basically tells you point blank in the movie why she is the way she is. In that hospital scene, she relays
Yep.
to you why she is the way she is. But the problem is it's very brief and like it's in this sort of almost passing type moment to where
Yes.
I wish they would have established that more because it would have explained Melissa's character better. And I think she would have been better perceived by audiences.
Yeah.
Because you don't really, it's something you really have to pay attention to, which every time I've watched it, I've paid attention to those moments more and actively tried to look for those moments more because I want to better understand her character because I don't want to just assume that she was just terrible and this is our new final girl and now we have a terrible final girl going forward. No, I want to hope that she's fantastic. And
Me
the
too.
more that I watch it, the more that I actually look out for those scenes and see those scenes, the more I feel like, okay, like she is better than she's being given credit for.
I hope so, man.
So we'll see. I mean, I'm curious to see what that transition is.
Or if there is a transition. Well, no, okay, yeah, just 6. Yeah. Well, that's the thing. So, all right, I'll ask you this: what will your feelings be about her? So basically, this is like is she going to pass the smell test? I guess in 6,
Yeah.
because if she comes back and is exactly the same character as 5, what will your opinion be of her then? Will it change, or you think that she's still that's her character as written? Or do you think that's actually maybe a lack of ability?
I mean, it's kind of a tough question to answer because it depends on one, the execution and style in which they go about it. You know, if it fits more into the story, her sort of staleness, then it could be better perceived. And now you have a better perception of her. 2 is just how do you really know if it is her acting or the actual character story? You know,
Right.
you got to imagine that it is the character's story because if it was that bad, I don't think they'd bring her back or they would kill her quickly in Scream 6. So, I mean,
Yeah.
if she dies, like, let's say she dies in the opening scene,
Opening kill.
then that might be your answer. You know what I mean? Like, seriously.
Could you imagine it? Opening kill? Oh.
That might be your answer.
Wow. She's
you
saying,
know,
shh, don't say that.
Yeah. She's like, stop. Stop it, Fate.
Don't say it.
Yeah, no, but I mean, like that could be your answer. But the other thing is too is that this isn't her first film. You know
No,
what I
it's
mean?
not.
It's not her first acting role. Like we can see her acting in past, other films and shows and stuff, and she has had emotional scenes, and she's done a good job and killed it. So I don't think it's the actress. I think it's the role in which she's playing this.
I hope so. And I've said that too. I think I said, this really could be the situation where she's written this way, and that's why her emotions, she seems to like be very close to the vest, not very passionate in her role very much. And they make a point to show those pills. I mean, the first scene, she's popping pills. Yeah. And then in the hospital, she's popping pills. And she sees Billy.
They really established her mental state in this film. It's just, they're just such brief moments that if you're not really looking for that to explain her as a character, you're likely not even going to notice it. You know what I mean? You're likely not even, or you're likely not even going to make the connection.
Yeah. Yep,
so
you're right.
That's I don't know. I hope, as always, hope for the best, expect the
Well,
worst.
yeah, that's right. All right, so let me ask you then. I'll pivot that to a different question
Okay.
now. So regardless of how Sam's acting or character is, regardless of that, as far as what you would want to see, are you like me? I'm pulling more towards the side of I want Tara to be the Sidney Prescott of this trilogy. And metaphorically speaking, obviously, because Sydney's still in it, but you know what I'm saying, the new final girl, I'll say it that way. And even if Sam lives, that's fine. I'm wanting to see Tara take the lead, if you will. And I really think that would be a good for the movie, unless Melissa comes out with off her meds. Now, dude, if she's off her meds and she's acting the way she did in 5, we can't even make it. We can't even give her the benefit of the doubt anymore. I mean, we can't. Right now, we're using the fact that she's on this medication. It does dull things, and so that's what it's meant to do. So I'll give her the benefit of the doubt. That's fair. But either way, what do you want to see? Like, if we were writing the movie together, how would you write Tara and Sam at this point?
So, as far as Tara goes, she obviously has become a fan favorite. She's the character that many people want. In many ways, I want her to transition into the final girl as well. My only thing is she is more a Sydney parallel
Yeah.
than
I know.
Sam is.
Yeah.
And that could be an issue.
Mm-hmm.
Because then it just becomes I want Scream personally. I want to see it be a little more creative, and I don't want to just see our new final girl be Sydney 2.0. Like, instead of trying to replicate Sydney, because you're never going to, why don't we try to go a different direction and see how that plays out? Because you can always go back. You can always reestablish Tara as the final girl, kill off Sam in 7. Like, if it doesn't work for 6, kill off Sam in 7. Boom, Tara's your final girl, and everyone's happy again. But I'd like to see a little deviate. And the only reason I like the idea of Sam continuing to be the final girl and kind of seeing her development is, one, what she does for a lot of people. Because there's a lot of people that have that mental health state. And usually those role characters aren't the final survivors.
No.
They're usually either the killer or they die at some point. I mean, even the classic Texas Chainsaw Massacre. We saw I can't remember his name off the top of my head, but the brother, we knew this guy's dying in 10 minutes. And that's just how it's always been in horror.
It's true.
It's nice to see that sort of change, in my opinion. And then just the way that they establish her character in Scream 6, she has the potential for far greater character development, in my opinion, than Tara does. We kind of know based on Sydney and the type of character Tara's playing, we kind of have an idea of what her development will be like as a character. Sam's, they could go so many directions. So the intrigue of Sam is really exciting for me personally. And if done correctly, like you said, maybe she's off her meds. Maybe she's exploring the darker side. I don't want her to go full-fledged killer, but I'd love to see, her struggling with that, especially now that she's tasted blood. There's a lot of things that were really great about her character that they could further explore and develop in future installments that I really think would be more intriguing and just different from a Scream franchise perspective than we've ever got. And I really think freshness is important for this new Radio Silence adaptation. You're never going to recreate Wes Craven. You're never going to recreate Sidney Prescott. You're never going to recreate those stories and what you were able to achieve and do in that, trilogy and then 4. So instead of trying to do that, let's just tell a new story, go a different direction, but keep the inherent, foundation that is Scream intact. I don't want them to turn it into something that Scream isn't, but you can be creative and explore different faucets than
Yeah.
just your typical, just like same old Scream. Because every
Yeah.
Scream film, for the most part, have been the exact same film. I mean, it's the same formula. You got two killers that you're waiting to see the big reveal that want Sydney dead for whatever stupid reason. Like that's Scream in a nutshell.
That's a bit harsh.
Yeah, but I mean,
It's a bit harsh. But
because,
that's why I love the movies, though. That's why I love them.
And I understand that, but it's been we're clearly moving away from Sydney, so let's not just retell Sydney stories with a different character. Because you're not going to be able to redo that. Like, I love the Scream franchise, is my favorite franchise ever, but let's leave those intact and move on. Let's do something different, because you're never going to be able to recreate that. You're never gonna. You're chasing an impossible task.
Yeah, it is impossible, man.
And so instead of chasing an impossible task, let's be creative, tell new stories, and attract the old and newer generations to new stories. Almost turn it into a version of an anthology series. You had.
That's what I was about to say. Yeah,
you had the Sam establishment. Like, I would much rather, instead of a final girl, why don't we tell a story about the group that survived? Why aren't the killers going after the survivors? There you go. Now you incorporate Kirby, because now the killer just wants everyone that's ever survived a Scream movie or a Scream Ghostface attack wants dead. And now it's not just
that's suspicious right there.
Now it's just
motive.
Now it's not just about Sam or Tara or whoever. It's about the group as a whole.
The group, that would be interesting. Actually, that would be. It would be very interesting.
And now it's not just the same old story. And you can incorporate Christina. You can incorporate Leslie into this film, and maybe they're targets too, because they're part of the bloodlines that survive. You have the Meeks, you have the Loomis, and now you have the Carpenter bloodlines. So everybody that's part of those bloodlines, this Ghostface is going after, because they want to get rid of them all. Maybe I've always said I would love to see a killer that has like a Thanos, right? Like, he had good intentions, but he went about it in a just over the top, drastic, horrific way. Like, what if you have a killer whose intentions and motive is to kill? They just want to stop the Ghostface attacks. And the best way to do that is to become what that is and take out those bloodlines. And they're worried about Sam becoming the next killer, or if we get rid of all of the connections have been to this Prescott's, the Loomises, the Mockers, the Meeks. If we get rid of all of those, big congratulations too, by the way. 3,000.
3,000, man. Thank you, guys. I just appreciate that. I just wanted to tell you, Denisha, I saw your comment. I appreciate that. You guys are amazing. I just hit 3,000 subs this morning. So it's big. It's been a good day. So anyway, appreciate it.
Yeah, big shouts. But yeah, because I mean, think about it. It's a story that would tie in perfectly. Every film has been about the Prescotts, the Loomises, the Meeks, or the Mockers. Well, you have that established in Scream 6. You have all those bloodlines, all those characters. What if this killer's like, I just want to kill off those bloodlines, because then there's no reason for another Ghostface attack to ever happen. Maybe there's somebody that their maybe it's like Steve Orr's brother or cousin or nephew, and they're, whatever the case may be, or it's somebody that was affected by the Ghostface attacks. And they're like, as long as these bloodlines survive, Ghostface is going to keep coming. So why don't I be the one to do that?
Yeah.
That's my only thing. So
yeah, man, that's. I mean, yeah, I think that here. Now this is interesting. I like this from Wayne is weighing in, saying Sam killing Richie so brutally would make her a hardcore killer. Oh yeah, Sam would be an amazing killer, a Ghostface killer. She was a brutal. I want her to be the red herring in 6. Family and friends push her away into isolation, and that pushes her to be a Ghostface in 7. So kind of like you get what you ask for, kind of thing. I'm all for those type of things. I mean, because I'm looking at this as this is a trilogy, and like we talked about earlier, I think once this is done, then Spyglass, whoever's going to make the next one, they might bring in a whole new director, do a whole new trilogy, and like this. So we may never see Radio Silence. We could see it more, but I'm just saying I view this as a 3 movie. I don't think this is going to be what Sydney was with 1, 2, 3, and then 4, and then 5. I don't see Sam going for 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I could be wrong, right? But I view this as a 3-shot deal. This is Radio Silence's deal, and Guy and James. And then when this is done, I could see them completely clearing the decks. And
I agree with you. I really think that I think we'll have the Sydney trilogy, we'll have the Sam trilogy, and then we'll have the new trilogy.
yep. Oh, you're out again.
That's kind of what I'm out.
No, you're good. You're good. You're back.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that's going to be I think that's likely what it's going to be. It's going to be the Sydney. It'll be broken up into trilogies. You'll get the Sydney, the Sam, and then whatever trilogy you get. And I think eventually we're going to lead into the Prescott kids. I think at some point,
that would be epic, man.
15 years from now, because
Right.
they're all like 2 or whatever right now.
Yeah, just
So
do a
I
time
can see-
jump.
Yeah, I could see, you finish this trilogy. Now the kids are, at like 8 at this point, and then
Yeah.
you only need another. You have like a 3 to 5 year hiatus, and then you get a new trilogy with the Prescott kids. There you go. Like I could absolutely see that happening.
That'd be so awesome, man.
I'm not gonna lie, I would welcome that. Like, let's do that.
Yeah. You imagine new Prescotts, like these 17-year-old Prescott kids.
Yeah,
Girls, because she said that the girls. So she's got, sounds like she's got 2 girls. So this would be more female Prescotts, which could be the new finals.
The problem is that if that happens,
Yeah.
do they end up killing one of the Prescott kids, or do you just have 2 final girls for that entire trilogy? That's something else.
A
because
sister final girl duo, kind of like what they're doing with Sam and Tara.
that could be the case with Sam and Tara. I mean, we could see that happen in this Radio
We could.
Silence trilogy. You could have both of them survive all the films. So if that happens, could that happen? Or do they end up, having one of the Prescott kids get killed, and then that kind of spawns it, type thing.
Mm-hmm.
It would also be a way to get Sydney back.
Oh, yeah.
One of her kids die.
Oh,
She's coming back.
Man, can you imagine the vengeance of a mom? Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
She would be
Mother
a psycho
scorn.
Sid.
Mother scorn for sure.
Yeah.
You don't want to get in the way of a mother's wrath. That's for sure.
No. Now Jordan mentions that I'm getting tired of the bland kills. I need to take notes from the TV show, bruh. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, I would. The TV show did have some pretty good kills, and I would personally love to see. I mean, yeah, I would like to see Ghostface get off the knife from time to time. I mean, that's kind of what Scream is, Ghostface running around poking people. But I wouldn't mind a kill outside of Ghostface just throwing somebody off of a balcony.
right.
I would like to see. I'd like to see. A Ghostface improvise. Or whatever the case may be, or somebody getting shot. Yeah, I mean, because that's always how it's been. You either get the stab kill, or you get the balcony kill, or you get the gunshot kill at some point, whether it's Ghostface or like Liv. Although I thought Liv's kill was fantastic. That was, in my opinion, one of the most surprising kills in the franchise. Like, whether you knew Amber was the killer or not, that was unexpected. Where they're all freaking out and then just boom, like you're just like, whoa, okay, that's how we're getting. And then the welcome to Act 3.
Welcome to Act 3.
That was a beautiful transition in that.
So good. Oh my gosh, bro.
Yeah,
man. Whew, dude.
Amber was. I really enjoyed Amber.
She's not one of my favorites. I always be like, she's like, I just hated that everything was just so like that shot there. That was her entire personality on a plate. It's right there. You don't even have to have a word spoken. That is her personality from the beginning to the end, and it just annoyed the crud out of me.
You saw the real her though. Like when
finally,
she was completely different in that once she had the reveal,
I
you
agree.
saw the real her. She was
You
giddy,
do.
she was happy.
Yeah.
Like that was the real her.
That was the real
she
her.
was playing a character.
She
up
was.
until that end scene. And she was that snobby, like,
Yes.
like maybe you're the killer, like type, like just like, okay, like I want to see her get killed type character. And then once she gets revealed, then she's just like this, just like she's just getting. You see the flip of the switch back and forth, where she's like, I'm just corrupt. Like that, I thought that was great.
Yeah,
I thought she executed that beautifully. Like that.
I loved her. And look, after the reveal, I've always said from the moment she pulls the gun out, I'm a fan. Like I loved her from the rest of the movie. Anything prior to that, I did not. Yeah. But again, that's just I guess how she was written. It's how they wanted her to be. Yeah. I'll tell you, man. Oh, look at that queen. Look at that.
I know.
Dude, I'm telling you, man. I'm anxious to see who we're going to get in this Scream 6. What new cast members are there? We know we're going to have Chad. I'm assuming they get everybody back.
Yeah.
I wonder what new people, are they going to bring Kirby back? Do you think Kirby's going to actually be in the movie, or do you think that they're just going to play around with that?
That's something I've touched on several times, because I really wouldn't be shocked if she's not in it at all.
Oh yeah, it could happen.
Because here's something I talked about recently. So we got that deleted scene, and I mean this kind of plays into the whole like, are deleted scenes canon or not, whatever the case may be, right?
Yep.
Something that I haven't really seen anyone talk about as far as Kirby goes, and the Easter egg that she is alive.
Mm-hmm.
That was 3 years prior. A lot can happen in 3 years.
Yep.
So, and that missing poster would have been in real time if that was in the film. So it is very likely that she survived Scream 4. She had the interview, and then the 3 years between that and the Amber and Richie Ghostface, she's missing. And something else I threw out there is, what if Amber and Richie got to her? What if she was the Maureen Prescott that'll be revealed in Scream 6 in Scream 5? Like, not in the sense of like Sydney's mother or anything like that, but that character that was the prep leading into Ghostface. Amber and Richie, planned out the attack. They worked through their thing, and Kirby was that target. It also would fit into the motive of Richie and Amber. Going after all of the characters from past. So I wouldn't be shocked if Kirby really is dead and they don't bring her back. And it's not a radio silence character. I mean, you can make the argument based on what we saw with Judy is that they wouldn't have brought her back at all. I mean, because she had no significance. There was really no reason to have her in that movie at all, other than to just have an epic kill. I mean, Wes, even the only reason he was in that was to have the Wes, tribute at the end.
The tribute, yeah.
But you could have made him anybody. You didn't have to make him Wes Hicks. So I mean, it's just the only reason you had to bring Judy back was because you wanted your film to be in Woodsboro. She was a character that survived the last Woodsboro attack, was the deputy.
Yeah.
So it just made sense to bring her back, and then they killed her. So, I mean,
true.
Do they want to start bringing back? And obviously the OG3, they're the OG3. But even that, I mean, they killed Dewey. So I at this point, you can't
still don't like that.
I've seen people say like there's Sydney, I think, is the only untouchable, but I've seen people, no way they kill Gil. They're not going to kill Gil. Well, we just saw them kill Dewey, and many people were saying the same thing leading up to it. No way they're going to kill Dewey. It's just misdirection. It's just this, just that. And guess what? Dewey's dead. So I can't say radio silence is proven. We can't put anything past them. We can't like whatever they want to do.
They'll do it.
They'll do it. And
they will.
There is no definitives with radio silence and this installment, in my opinion, because everything we thought there's no way that they're gonna do and this and that, like guess what, they did it. And
they have, man. They
And yes,
have. And
so I don't know. I don't. I just think that it's it almost makes no sense for them to bring back Kirby.
well, I mean, again, it goes back to depending on. I wish we knew what they were thinking. Like
Yeah,
I wish I
exactly.
knew what Guy and James were like talking about on their Zoom calls or when they get in, because they may have a grand idea for Kirby.
Yeah,
Like
it's
there's a,
possible.
it's possible. Yeah, they may really think, well, we could bring her in and she could be. And I've heard a lot of people talk about on my channel, and I think it's a really cool idea. Like, what if she's a therapist?
Yeah.
Like, what if she's given like she's counseling Sam and Tara or something, and she's this older mentor type looking out for them of survivors of trauma. She's been through murders in Woodsboro. She knows what it's and I thought that's what a great way of a storyline to write, of having her in the movie, and not just like a weird like why is she here? She actually has a real purpose to the story, and there Kirby's back, but she's not the she's the matured Kirby. It's been 10 years, 11 years, whatever, and so now you see her in this role helping other people. I mean, that's to me a really cool way to connect those together organically, where it would feel natural. Like she's you see Sam and is sitting there talking on a couch or in a chair, and you don't see who she's talking to, and she's spilling out. She's sharing how she's dealing with their PTSD and all this stuff, and then the camera slowly just is turning real slow this whole time, and then we see there's Kirby behind the desk talking to her and counseling her. I'm like, that would be like that's a way to me that would be really cool. I would like be all over that. I think that'd be awesome. So that's just a way you could do it.
I
that
mean,
would be
yeah. I
cool.
mean, like you said, it comes down to what do they really want? 'Cause
Yeah, it does.
we've gotten two opposite Easter eggs for Kirby. So does that mean they don't even really know what they want? Like, did they just throw? Because the thing is too, with the Easter egg we got in the actual film, you could argue is a perfect compromise because yes, it reveals Kirby is alive. So if they want to bring her back, they can.
They have
But
options. Yeah.
But it was 3 years prior. So if they decide they don't want to bring her back, there's your out.
Psych.
Kirby survived, but she
Right.
died. Or you could just leave
Yeah.
her out in the ether and leave it to the audience to decide. Is she alive? Is she dead? Whatever the case may be.
Now, I want to bring this up real quick because Eric's got a good point with Bearded. Hey, what's up, Eric? Good to see you, man. He said in multiple interviews they wanted to bring her to be in 5, but it's too far along production. I do remember them talking about saying they wanted her, but that if they brought her into the movie and it was only for like 5 minutes or was
Yeah,
it two
they wanted her to have a bigger role. If she
a
was
bigger
in it.
role.
Yeah.
So that's a good point. I kind of forgot about that interview till I saw you mention that again. So if they're still along those same line of thinking, then it sounds like they are definitely open to it. And it's going to be if James and Guy write a story that
Yeah.
can bring her into it. But I think it would be really cool. Wayne says she changed her name. She's trained as an FBI agent, specializing in serial killers, returns on the job, and stuff like that. Oh, that's interesting. That's another way it would be interesting. She could actually be in law enforcement.
Yeah.
And
I mean,
tracking them. Or what if
She
she's a
was that type of
profiler?
character. She was
Yeah.
that type of character.
Yeah. She could be a profiler, man. She's
Yeah.
coming in to profile the killer.
Yeah, possibly.
Dude,
Yeah.
why
I mean,
aren't you?
there's a ton of stories and directions they could go with it. I'm
You
not saying
could.
that I wouldn't like if they bring her back, great. Like I'm not.
Yeah.
I just don't want. I just don't like. I see it all the time. Like this is confirmation. She has to come back. She's coming back. I
Oh,
wouldn't
yeah.
say that.
Not necessarily. It's
Not
yeah,
necessarily. You know what I mean? Like we have no idea what they're gonna do. And times change. Things change. They might have had all the intentions in the world to bring her back in 5,
Yeah.
but the story just went away from her. That happened.
Could be.
We've seen that all the time. We've seen that in real time with movies and shows where they'll
Yeah.
bring in a character and the story just moves away from them. And it's just one of those things.
Yeah.
So
It
like,
is.
I could see her coming back, but I wouldn't be shocked.
Now this is another one. I like this. I like both of these ideas.
Bring back Kincaid and Angela.
And Angelina, yes, I would be 100% supportive of this move if they at least give us a cameo of Dempsey.
Yeah.
At least just a small scene with him and the girls like at home or something, or maybe Sydney's going to leave for Woodsboro, but it shows them in her house, and Mark has got the girls, he's making him breakfast or something, and he like, goodbye, Sydney, and she's like, what, what I'm saying, that kind of moment, that would be even just that one little scene, I would be satisfied. I would be so happy just that one being. And Angelina, man, you could totally bring her back as a killer. You could completely do it, man. I would love to see that happen.
So, without getting into this Stu debate,
Okay.
I did make a video talking about how Angelina, in my opinion, makes more sense to return than even Stu, because a lot of the arguments for Stu returning, you can make the same about Angelina and then some.
Oh, agreed.
And I think that her story itself is easier to just insert her into than a Stu Macher would be. Because I mean, even you and me are opposite sides of the Stu train, but we have both agreed you have to have some explanation. You have to have something. You can't just plug them in and say, here's Stu, and then that's it. But Angelina, I feel in some ways you kind of can. I think it's just an easier story to plug her in. Because she was never really the killer to begin with on screen. So a simple dialogue could explain that.
That's
what are your thoughts on that? Do you agree with that, or do you think, or do you?
Yeah, I mean, I think both will have some explaining, some explaining to do.
Yeah.
But they're in different ways, because you have this one here who again, I'm on record. You guys know it. I believe is the second killer in 3. Who we just didn't get the reveal of it, and you can make the argument that Angelina, absolutely, her death was fake, and Roman pulls her off the stairwell, and she goes off, and she's out in anonymity. So, to me, you could, I mean, they both have some backstory you got to get out, But I don't know. Is it a lot easier? I don't know, because you still are going to have to. I mean, you could do both of them. Honestly, I was talking on my last live stream with I had a couple days ago. It came up, and we were like, probably in like a 2-minute scene, you could give an explanation that's not going to be thorough, but it's going to be at least like a high level reason of what's happened without having to make it all about that Stu or all about Angelina. So I think you make a good case, but I think that. Is it easier for Angelina than Stu? Maybe, but I think it's pretty close, because either one.
Here's the, like, real quick, not to interrupt you, but
by the way, I just want to say hi to Bobby real quick.
Oh, hey
Bobby.
What's going on, Bobby? How you doing? Appreciate you being here. But the reason I think Angelina is easier to explain than Stu is primarily. So Angelina was never established as a killer. If Angelina survived, right, then nobody would assume she's the killer, right? Let's say she staged her death, whatever the case may be. Like, so there wouldn't be any backstory that you really need to explain. She could have went into law, or she could have, just been a stay-at-home mom, or whatever the case, and the time just became right. Where with Stu, you have to, like, where has he been the last 25 years?
Right.
Like, where, how did he get out? How did he survive? How did, what we saw with Angelina was she gets stabbed, falls down on her back, and gets dragged away.
Right.
Tons of people have survived that. I mean, Scream 5, we had 5 characters survive that.
Even Chad. Look at him.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So Angelina's death, death, and compared to even Stu's death, quotes, however anybody feels about it, what we saw them die on camera, Angelina's is easier to explain surviving, because it was just a simple stab in the gut. She fell and was this, like, just
it was actually the shoulder.
Away.
It was a shoulder stab.
So they just randomly dragged away. So it's like, I just think that you don't need as much explanation. It doesn't really matter where she was. Nobody would expect her. Whereas Stu came back, everybody's going to expect him. It's going to be interesting to see how that story plays out, where Angelina can kind of just blend in with the new cast. They can be involved. You can have the story. She's operating behind the scenes. It's not a big. I just think there's more that you could do with Angelina, And it's just easier to plug her in than a Stu Macher would, because Stu Macher, I feel like there's more you have to explain and dive into than Angelina. Angelina wasn't not just that, but just iconic wise, icon wise, Stu is much more significant than Angelina. So people are going to want more of Stu than Angelina. Where Angelina, you could just kind of plug and play, give a quick brief, maybe like you were talking about the counselor thing. Maybe she became a counselor in Woodsboro or something to get close to whatever the case may be. And that's where she's been. She, is having a conversation with Sam, and Sam's talking to her because they both survived these attacks. And it's like, I was stabbed too, just like you. I survived. Nobody thought it was Roman. It was so crazy, blah, 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 blah. And then you kind of lay that groundwork. Well, like, how come he was the only killer? And it's like, that's weird, and like, you have this sort of like easy. I just think it's just a much easier setup. What do you think with that?
Yeah, I mean, the Stu stuff aside, because I do hear you, but I also think there's ways to do that. But which we've gone over those times.
I mean, there's always good writing can always understand anything. But
sure.
I do think inherently Angela's easier. And that doesn't take away from anything with Stu, because if they want to bring him back, they'll bring him back.
They'll bring him back and they'll write it. But but Angelina's side, just focusing on just Angelina for a minute. I love it. I think the thing I love about it, dude, is because if she comes back as a survivor of the events of Scream 3, she ends up being a mastermind of this thing. And then she reveals in 6, if they do it in 6, she reveals at the end that she was indeed Roman's accomplice. And she can even make a comment like what we would say, like, you really, like talking to Sydney or something, let's say, you really think Roman could get there that fast? Did you not figure this? How did you not figure this out?
He literally teleports in that movie.
He teleports in that set.
I know. But I mean, him putting on the makeup and all that stuff. You're telling me he was able to do that while they were searching the house, and he was walking with Jennifer and stuff like that.
Exactly.
Come on, there's no way.
There's no way he could get down there and do all that casket stuff by himself.
Fake his death, stop his heart rate, all that stuff. Because they checked his pulse.
They checked his pulse.
And Wes Craven did that deliberately
on
because
purpose.
He said he didn't believe that the audience would buy it unless somebody checked his pulse.
Checked the pulse. Yeah, she checked his arm, and it's down here by his wrist.
Yeah.
I'm telling you,
it's
man.
Easier to see if I do it.
I understood.
Because even when you did it was all
blurry. You're snotty, man. You're being the purist over here. No, I know it's snotty. No, but man, I'm telling you though, it would be fun and it would be so cool because all of the people out there, and look, everyone has a title. Everyone can think what they want. There's room at the table, but there are still people to this day that, as much as I rationally lay out why there are 2 killers in Scream 3, some folks just won't accept it, and that's fine. I'm okay with that. You have that right. But I think if you look at it rationally and logically, it's so obvious how Wes Craven did this movie, and he basically is telling the Weinsteins to shove it, because he made that movie exactly how he wanted to with 2 killers, but we just get one reveal. And so having said all of that, to set this last sentence up, if Angelina comes out or is in the movie and she reveals at the end how she was the Roman's accomplice and making these kind of statements, kind of repeating myself now, but still I'm just kind of processing what I said, to make the statement of like, how do you think he got there so fast? It's like meta on meta on meta, because it's the big argument that it's like, it's so clear. And I just think it'd be a funny joke. I would laugh. I would be like, this is amazing if that happened.
Well, and the thing is too, is that even because I've seen that same argument where people are like, oh, like it was never established in Scream 3, so it couldn't happen. Well, Roman wasn't established in Scream 1 or 2.
Exactly, dude.
Like Roman became a thing in later installments because they thought it was a great way to tie it in. Okay, well, that doesn't mean that they can't do that, 2 movies later again and reestablish and add to the Roman arc. Not just that, but what we got with Scream 5 was in many ways Scream 96 and Scream 4.
Agreed. I agree with you that it was.
And so it would make sense that sequel would be Scream 2 and Scream
Mm-hmm.
3.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Hey,
to some
that is a
degree.
brilliant segue to this next question.
Yes.
Charlie asked the question, do you guys see 6 taking place in college again? Now, this is because we're talking about blending 2 and 3, which would be, I think, amazing if they did that. And we've touched on this on some other broadcasts here on the channel. But anyway, Tyler, start us off. I'll give you my input, but you go ahead first. What are your thoughts? Or what do you want to see happen?
I wouldn't mind a college setting again because it's always a great setting. 2, it's always a believable setting because it's not something where it's like, oh my God, I can't believe another person went to college. Like, more people than not usually go to college, whether it's for a month, 6 months, or the 4 years or whatever. And there's no age to which you can go to college for. So Sam going with them isn't something that's like, oh, she's not 18. Like, it's like, okay, like that makes sense. There's people in their 60s and 70s that go to college. I mean, my grandmother, before she passed away, like she was 50 and went back to college to go, just go to college. She just wanted to go to college. Like, and so like, it's not something that is so out of the realm of possibility that it wouldn't fit a story. It is sort of that nod and almost carbon copy thing that they did with 96 and 5.
Yeah.
And could do with 6 and 6 and 2. And it's sort of that nod, that throwback, that sort of meta type, scenario. And I think it's all about, execution. That's our favorite thing to talk about when it comes to horror movies.
It's our favorite word on the collective is execution.
Yeah. Because it is. I mean, it's true. I mean, execution is everything, especially when it comes to film, especially when it comes to horror films. Usually big blockbuster action films, you can get away with some silliness because, here's an explosion, and everyone's like, ooh, and you're just distracted, and you just completely
fire.
And you just completely forget that like everything up to this point makes zero sense. I mean, look at the Fast and Furious movies; they literally went off the rails. But yeah, so especially with horror, especially with something like Scream, where it literally is all about the execution, the whodunit, that sort of mystery. I do think that I would welcome it being a college setting again. If I had to guess, I don't think they're going to. I think based on what Radio Silence has said about, I think it's going to go one of two ways. Either they're going to do what they've said and they have more story to be told in Woodsboro, and it's going to continue in Woodsboro, which I think is probably the more likely scenario. I do think that this movie isn't going to take place years later. I think it's going to take place months later. I think it's going to be like the summer, especially because they're filming in the summer, so it makes sense. The summer after high school, everyone's graduated, they're getting ready to go their separate ways, and then you get Ghostface pop in because a year or two,
it could be a pre-college movie.
Yeah, exactly, something like that. Because a year or two later could really be an issue. Like everyone's just been hanging out in Woodsboro, or everyone just went to the same place together. Like, I guess a college setting could fit that, but it's like, it's been years, you know what I mean? Like, I don't think there's going to be a significant gap, and I could be completely wrong. This is just purely my thoughts. So I don't think it goes the college route.
Yeah. And this is something that everyone who's watching is going to be in shock. Fade and I agree. Actually, we actually agree on a lot more than you guys realize.
Yeah.
But I agree that I do not think it's going to go the college route. I do not. I believe that the comment he made where there's more stories to be told in Woodsboro, I think it was genuine. I don't think that was a misdirect. I think he was being truthful.
They've said it several times too.
Yeah, well, there you go.
Just one time. It was. Yeah. I mean, even the Hello Sydney interview, they talked about it. In each interview, there was 3 of them.
Yeah, there's exactly. Oh yeah. I remember. That's right. I remember that.
Yeah. There's 3 parts.
There's 3 parts. Yeah. So yeah, it's going to be in Woodsboro, and I believe that I love this whole idea about the summer. I'm thinking more about this since you mentioned that. I think that would make a lot of sense. They're getting ready for college to start in the fall, but they're still all together, and this way you keep Martha Meeks in it. And I would love to see her. I don't want to see her get killed. I will be ticked off.
I hope she
if
has
they
a bigger
kill her.
role in this movie.
But I do too. I want her to be in it more. I just don't want her
And
to die.
it makes sense though too, because her children were attacked. You know,
Almost
it would
dead.
make sense to incorporate
Yes.
her more. Yeah, exactly.
Wouldn't it be great to see her like just be kicking tail in somehow in some capacity? I don't know,
would
man.
love that.
It'd be great. And if you do bring back Kirby and you bring back Martha Meeks and you get Sydney back, you know, Gail, I'm sure is going to show up at some point. If it's hard to, I mean, she doesn't have to come back. I mean, if they announce Gail's not coming back, I would not be shocked. I honestly would not be shocked.
Yeah.
But that remains to be seen. But staying on the question here, yeah, I'm going with the idea of they could, but I don't think they will. My prediction is it will be Woodsboro, and it's going to be enough time for everyone's wounds to have healed. So Tara's not on crutches. You know, Tara's walking. She's, you know, everyone's wounds are healed. There's stitches are gone and scar tissue's there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, well, that's why I think months,
Yeah.
like, you know, 6
Right.
months later.
And that makes sense.
Makes perfect sense. And it's an easy transition. You know, you don't have to make a bunch of things make sense. You don't have to, like, everyone's already there. They're already able. It's just an easy thing. So which Meeks twin would you rather die if you have to pick one? Because there's been a lot of talks about, I mean, even from the actors and actresses standpoint, Jasmine posted a thing saying, what if one of us die? There was the Chad, he posted
Mason Gooding. Mm-hmm.
No, Chad, the radio silence guy.
Chad Villella.
Villella,
Yeah.
yeah. I blanked on that for a second.
That's all right.
He even posted something which could be interpreted a million ways, but it says maybe Chad, and then there's like a space, and then it says now. It was a tweet that he posted, and Radio Silence did it with Scream 5. They threw out all kinds of cryptic stuff.
Yep.
Some stuff was pertaining to Scream 5. Some stuff wasn't. Some stuff we thought was pertaining to Scream 5 and it didn't, but it still pertained to Scream 5, just in another way. So, and we're getting in that time where this is about the same time as far as like removed away from the film that they did for Scream 5. You know, they were about a year and some change before they really started ramping stuff up. And we're about even less. We're about, you know, I mean, if this film comes out, let's say January of 23, we're like 8 months out. You know, I mean, this is when they were starting to release posters and stuff.
I was gonna say, dude, yeah, 8 months was. I that's why I'm really thinking, man. Again, I believe it's gonna be a fall. I think it's gonna be summer or fall.
I think it will too. I do too. Like, I agree, but you know, I mean, even then.
But it could be. It could be though.
Yeah.
It's technically possible.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, well, yeah, it just depends on how quickly everything goes about it. But like, so yeah, that ties into my question. Like, what do you think? Because I did a video about that actual tweet that Chad Villella put out, and I even made a community post asking. So I wanted to ask you, what do you think? Who would you rather see die if you had to choose? If you had to choose between the two,
Had to, yeah.
You know,
Had to
like
do it. So I think your mic just went out again. Fate. Yeah, make sure I get you back. Are you there?
you hear me?
There you go. You're good. You're good.
All right,
So
I was,
I told you, man. I gotta get your address so I can
I know, right?
buy
I
you
need
a
to
new
do stuff.
cord, dude. But anyway, no. If I had to choose one of them, I would choose Chad to be the one to die, because I think, as far as what we saw in 5, just based on what they brought to the story in 5, I think Mindy brought a lot more to the table, and so I really loved her character and her energy and how she was so. I mean, she would be like, well, you know, he's probably dead, or you know, just so like matter of fact. And then I loved the whole requel. The requel was just fantastic. That scene and you know, in the house was gold. That was her, to me, that was her crowning moment, like, for the movie. But if I had to pick one, and I like Mason Gooding, and I liked the Chad character. He didn't have a ton to do in this movie, but the scenes that he was in, I liked. I really loved the couch scene with Liv. I was not expecting him to say, you know, I'm not entirely sure you're not a killer. I'm like, this is gold. So I love both of them, but I would much rather see Jill. I'm looking at the chat. There's a chat's blowing up about Jill coming back, bro. Listen, all due respect, Jill. That's one character I just don't see any way that Jill would ever come back with this defibrillator to the head.
Yeah.
That is, look, I've never had that done, thankfully, but I know this that's got to be a lot of juice.
She would be brain dead, even if she did survive.
Right.
Like, she would literally be brain dead.
Right. I mean, I could tell you this, that a year or two ago, I guess it was a year ago, lightning struck about what looked to be maybe 12 inches, 6 to 12 inches from the front hood of my Suburban, and it completely fried the electrical system, everything. It totaled the entire truck. And I can imagine putting electrical charge to your head where you're directly where you're, of course you have a skull, but my point is, bro, I don't see any. If you did survive,
that up.
if she went like maximum, like all the way up on it, it wasn't even like, it was. So I loved Jill. She is my favorite Ghostface killer after Billy and Stu. It's Stu, Billy, Jill. That's my personal ranking. And so just so you know, I'm coming from a place that I love Jill. The entire final act of Scream 4 is among my most favorite of any of the films. So I'm a fan. I would, if there was a way, I would love to see it. I just honestly don't think I don't think you survive that.
Yeah.
You agree, Tyler? I just don't see.
100%. Like,
yeah.
Like there's no way. Like, it just.
Yeah.
Even if you watch the scene where because people use the like, well, she got up after, like, it's very likely that was just pure adrenaline, and the way she got up and just immediately charged ahead with no real purpose. She just and just got all crazy, just charged. That would have been because it was just her just adrenaline and just everything kicking in. And she was just aimlessly, and that's why she just fell limp, and that was it. Like it just, there's no way. Like as after minutes or seconds, her brain would literally be fried if she managed to survive that, which is damn near impossible.
Right?
Her brain would be completely fried, completely fried. Because I mean, even lightning. Like, because people get struck by lightning and they survive. People have been struck by lightning in the head. The thing is that there's a big difference between that and the defibrillator machines. But also, you're grounded. Most people, they're wearing rubber shoes, so that is grounding in and of itself. I mean, the defibrillator is designed to target specifically this. So, like, where lightning, even if you see lightning hit a tree, it comes down and it spreads itself out. That would have been just targeted, focused, boom, right into the brain. Like, there's no grounding, there's no nothing. Like, it's a completely different scenario. And Jill, there's no way you can logically make that make sense unless she's a zombie or something, like something ridiculous. So
agreed. Yeah, I think so. But I appreciate your passion, Jordan. I get it, man. Listen, I do. I understand it. Now, Bearded says that Eric says, I would choose Mindy. I think Chad was way more entertaining. Okay. Mindy's being set up as a pseudo Randy, and Randy died in 2. Yeah. So if they follow the rules, then we're gonna lose Mindy in this next film.
Follow the rules.
But those are the rules. Like, I mean, come on, man. Those are the rules. Just the. Oh my gosh, I can't even. I remember him giving those. We just watched it with Nancy Ann Ritter. We watched the movie. No. Those lines are just. They're just. I can't even. They're the top of the line. Get up! Come on! Oh my gosh. Florence says, "Craven, I'm disappointed." Oh, I don't know what you're disappointed in, but I'm sorry I disappointed you. So I don't know what comment it was. But Aiden says Jill is not Horace Pinker from Wes Craven's Shocker. No, exactly.
Right? Yeah, exactly.
Yes,
that's a great reference.
That's perfect. That's so perfect. Oh my gosh. Let's see. All right, guys. Well, listen. we'll go a couple more minutes here, Tyler. We can start to wrap
sounds like a
up.
plan. Yeah.
Call it a night.
I mean, we already went a lot longer than we anticipated.
Actually, we did. We were on like almost 2 hours. So we've done it.
Especially with just the two of us. You know, it's a lot easier when you have two other people because conversations just go forever. But
well,
I think we did a good job holding it down.
I think we did.
We need to restructure this collective thing. You know,
I mean, I can tell you right now that this was. I think any less of capable individuals would have been a train wreck. No, I'm just.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
But
not to throw shade at anyone in the
no, nobody, no shade.
I don't know.
Yeah, exactly. I have to say, it was great. I enjoyed it. It was fun.
It was.
Even we missed Jake, we missed Knight, of course.
Of course.
But this was, dude. We got to do more of these. And we were talking about this before we went on the live stream earlier. That we've got to do more of these on our channels.
Yeah.
Just one-on-one videos together.
Yeah, 100%. I do. I do. I enjoy these things. I enjoy these talks. Oh, believe me, you see that you should go watch the last live stream. You'll see me and him. You see me and him literally screaming at each other for 30 minutes.
I think there was a couple of times. I think both of us were at full voice with volume.
What are you talking about? Like,
what are you doing?
What are you doing?
We were going at it.
No, it definitely. Believe me, there are moments with us. Me and Jake have gone at it. All three of them have gone at it with me.
We have.
It's not as civil as you think, but we're all friends. We all genuinely love each other. We're constantly talking off screen, stuff like that. And believe me, none of it is fake. Because
absolutely not.
We have these same arguments, these same discussions, probably even worse off camera. Because we usually try to keep it contained a little bit because we're on camera. But believe me, everything you see, it's definitely what you get.
100% genuine. There's no scripting. We don't even have prep talk. We literally just jump
right
in.
Yeah,
we just go. You
that's
guys are very
that's
funny.
What makes this so special. Oh well, thank you.
Thank you, Nicole. It's very sweet.
That's what makes this so special.
It does.
It's one of those things that it's what we all envisioned when we came together to do this.
It is.
4 different creators in the same space, all with different opinions most of the time. Of course, we agree on some things, but a lot of times at least one of us has a different opinion, or at least we can go there to where we can argue the other side, which is good. And then it's just it's a beautiful thing. I really think, and we've all talked about this even behind the scenes. We really believe that this has potential to be bigger than even each of our individual parts.
That's right.
And so I'm excited. So subscribe if you're not subscribed. This is a good point to say.
Yes, this is. Yes, subscribe now. We're on our campaign, our march to 1,000 subs. We're over 400. You guys pushed us over 400 last week or on Monday. So thank you guys for that again. And if you can share it, whatever you can do, we're trying to get to 1K. We can get it. You guys can help us get there. It's going to happen.
Also, to kind of interject, so many people have been saying with these live streams and stuff, we've seen it on several of them, about super chats, about Patreon, all of that stuff. Well, we have to get monetized for that to happen. Well, we're already past the watch hours. We've already reached the watch hours required. We just need the 1,000 subs. So whatever you guys can do, if you can, hit the subscribe button. If you're not like Nicole, I really appreciate it.
Thank you, Nicole. You're awesome. Thank you.
So if anyone else is not subscribed, hit that subscribe button. If you know anyone that would love this kind of thing, again, we've talked about it. Share it on your social medias if you can. Share it with a friend. Whatever you can do to get subscribed would be wonderful, and we truly appreciate it. Let's get that 1,000, and once we get to 500. We can do at least do community posts and a couple other stuff. So
that's true, man.
Yeah, we can be more engaging.
We definitely, once we get to that level, we can have channel memberships where you guys can join the channel and become members, and we can have different tiers.
We can start doing exclusive stuff, all kinds of stuff.
Yes, exclusive things. There's so many things that we want to do and we're going to do, and we just got to get to the 1,000. That's the key. That's kind of unlocks it. If we get there, we unlock a lot of things that we're already brainstorming about, including some merch that you're going to want to own. You're going to want to put it on your body. Okay.
That you will.
You're going to, when you see it, what we're thinking about, it's going to be,
It's gonna be great.
it's going to be great. You know what I'm talking about. We got some goodies. Well, guys, this has been absolutely a great night. I have enjoyed this very much. You guys in the live stream have been fabulous. Jake. We miss Jake. We miss Night, but Tyler, you've been fabulous, brother.
Thank you. So have you.
And I have
It's
enjoyed
nice
it.
that we were able to be friendly and cordial today.
Well, this, what I love about this is that I think we just showed everyone how much our relationship is real, because we're not at odds. We are absolutely, we're having fun together. And I think a lot of people were anticipating this was going to be grudge match, battle royale right here when they saw just and it's like, nope, sorry. We're going to show you guys. There's a lot more to
it. There will be more moments.
There will be more. Oh, yeah.
It's inevitable, but it's all in good fun. Like, none of it's serious. Even when we get mad at each other, like, we're immediately not.
No, exactly. Well, it's so funny. Like last time when we got, even when it was that heated, the minute the live stream was over, we were like laughing about it. We're like, this was amazing. This was so good. It was fun. Because one thing it does is it gets, when we engage, when we lock horns in fun, not for real, it gets the adrenaline pumping because we're both passionate about it. Like if we didn't care, there'd be nothing. It'd be like, oh, whatever, But when you have something that you both are passionate about, that's what makes it energetic and fun. So absolutely. So real quick, I just wanted to mention two things. Then we're gonna say goodbye. First thing is, I don't have an image, unfortunately, but Jake, our buddy Killjoy Jake, has a Kickstarter going right now for Red Right Hand. He's trying to get the film made, the full-length film for his Scream fan film made. You guys who've been here on the strats, you already know about it, but I know there's some folks that are new tonight. So when you go to look in the description, I love that. Sorry, that's Steven. Friendship, lethal wins. Yeah, that's so good. That's right, man. So if you look in the description of this video, once this stream ends, it goes into replay mode, which is why you're smashing the thumbs up button really helps us. But you're going to be able to click the description. You're going to see a channel link for each of our individual channels. Go to Jake's channel, and you're going to be able to look at his Kickstarter, okay? And you need to go, and if you can donate anything, he's trying to get $5,000 total budget. He's at $2,300, just a little over $2,300 now. So he's not basically halfway there, essentially. And he's got 2 more weeks. So time is running out. We've got to help get him there. So I would never ask you to do something I haven't done. So I've already pledged. I've already made a pledge on there, and I'm asking you if you can, if you're able. Again, we get nothing out of this. Like this, there's no financial gain at all for any.
Yeah, we have no skin in the game.
Nothing at all. The only reason we're bringing it up is because he is one of the collective. He's a friend. We want to see the movie. So we want to see it happen. So anyway, yeah, I won't go on and on about it. I just want to say, go please, and if you can donate $1 tonight, that's great. If you can donate $100, $500, $20, whatever it is, it makes a difference. Okay, yeah. And if you can't do that, share it, please. If you could share it on your social media accounts, tell a friend about it. Say, hey, I know this really cool YouTube creator, Killjoy Jake, and he's gonna make this awesome movie. He just needs some help. So let's help him.
We all need help.
We all do.
We all need help with anything. So.
Yes. And last things, I've seen a couple people here talking about the live stream tonight. I just want to mention again as we close. Tonight at 10 p.m. Central, 11 Eastern, on my Craven channel, I am hosting a live stream interview of Mike Vaughn, the voice of Brandon James in Scream series, the TV series, seasons 1 and 2, which were epic. Much better than 3. But that's another discussion. So anyway, if you guys can make it tonight, it's going to be a party. Would love to see you there, and it's going to be fun. So I hope you guys can make it.
Nicole, Fate, are you drinking gin straight from the bottle? I told you that in confidence. How could you share that live on the chat? That is upsetting. I don't want people knowing I'm a drunk.
Oh, dang. Something you're supposed to be kept.
Drinking pure leaf, unsweetened black tea. Right.
Exactly.
Or gin.
Or is it? Yeah. Wayne, thank you too, man. We appreciate you being here as always.
Yeah, we
This
do.
is
We
always-
appreciate all of you. Thank you so much. And if you're not subscribed to our individual channels, subscribe to our individual channels too. It's something we
Yeah.
don't really ever plug.
We never
we never really talk about it. but
That's
it's
so
good.
funny. We
It's
don't.
important. Well, because most of the people that are subscribed here are subscribed to our channel.
Yeah, yeah.
It's something we don't really have to plug, but we do have I'm starting to see newer and newer people. So
True. Yeah, and then like Nicole is one. Not now Nicole. If you haven't visited our individual channels, if you like what you saw tonight, this is what Fate and I do on our channels every day. This is what we do. Not necessarily live streams, but videos, these kind of conversations. So I would encourage you to check it out and check out Night Watch Zone. Check out all the four of us we're very different and we're also similar. It's all at the same time, and so. But we're all doing things all very differently, which is why this collective is so cool.
Yeah.
Because if we were all the same, then all of us aren't. No, three of us wouldn't be necessary.
Exactly.
So,
Facts.
Anyway,
true.
all right. I think that's going to be it. You have anything else, Tyler? Are we good?
No, I think that's it. Yes, Blucka, I did see Khalil Mack, and I'm very excited for that. But that being said, no, close us out. Wrap it up.
All right, John. This is the first time I've ever worn a cap on a live stream here or on my own channel. And you said it looks cool. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. That's a nice way to end it.
You know what I will actually say one last thing. You know what we're gonna have to add to the merch is we're
What's
definitely gonna have to sell hoodies and hats now because it's kind of become my trademark, right?
It kind of is, and I got to tell you,
especially hoodies. I almost always wear hoodies because I've just always been a hoodie guy. I love hoodies.
Hey, nothing wrong with that, man.
So the hoodie thing. So we gotta have hats and hoodies too. That's what we're gonna have to work on. But anyway.
And I may have to keep a hat around.
I know, right?
All right, guys. So listen, thanks again, everyone. We appreciate you so much. We'll be back on Monday for the Lethal Collective Monday Q&A. And so, listen, we're going to expect you to be there. So, good night, everyone. Tyler, it's been fun. And
I appreciate you.
absolutely. And the collective has spoken.